Right? Shalom. First and foremost, we would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakodash, double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, whom rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful let God them pushing His word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect of believers and listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. All right. And what I want to get into, all right, this afternoon, pretty much dealing with how consistency, okay, consistency, all right, leads to an empire, you know, or consistency leads to greatness, because one thing about it, no matter how big of an empire, no matter how big of an enterprise, okay, no matter how many accomplishments, that one may have, okay, it all started, okay, with you know, a beginning, you know, and you have a beginning to everything. And what builds to empires is consistency, okay? And that's one of the things that, we learn in life and also is magnified in this truth, because you look at the apostles and the elders, when you look at, the camps that are all over the world, all the camps that are all over America, the structure that you see amongst the body, you know, the live screens, the edification is going out. Well, that begin with men being consistent with going out to the highways and byways. You know, we're looking at the Lord, all right, pretty much put the spirit on particular men, all right, our elders and apostles today, their elders before them, to consistently to go out and teach. And you see the mindset of our apostles and elders is to keep teaching, always keep teaching in season, out of season. Okay, constantly teach because it's leading to something. Because the scriptures say what wisdom bringeth into a kingdom. Well, How can wisdom, okay, be spread unless it's being taught? Okay, and the consistent teaching is building the nation. Okay, the consistent edification that's constantly going out is building the nation. It's setting us in order. Okay, we're seeing the nation, as the scriptures say in Wisdom of Solomon 8:1, how wisdom go out through the earth, pretty much setting everything right. Okay, and how is wisdom going out through the earth? Through teaching. Because see, things have to be broken down. Because we can read and have a minute understanding of something, and then when someone teaches it, now we know how to apply it. Because what's happening is we're learning to be skillful in righteousness. We're learning to be skillful, okay, within the word, okay, even with a military, like the scripture go into how King David, you don't speak much on it, but how because it says written in other books, we'll get them in the kingdom. But it speaks about how David, taught his men how to fight. He taught, the Most High taught David how to fight. He teaches hands to war, but David consistently taught his men, his military, all right, fighting tactics, man. Okay, and that's what led into that mighty army. Like it was consistency. You see, like a lot of times, we read about the the finished product. Okay, but there was some consistency that went into that. All right, like the empires and different things that we see. Like you don't get an empire just winning one battle. You gotta constantly win battle after battle after battle after battle. Then you look around, you're an empire. you know, and that's how it is in the ministry. Like there's certain things in the flesh, that we have to conquer. We have to conquer. We have to win this battle, win that battle, win that battle, and then we look around. and we're solid, like we're, thriving in the spirit now, but it comes with consistency. You see, brothers, hey, brothers that put in their work, like as the scripture say, you sow sparingly, you reap sparingly. So whatever you put in, that's gonna be the output, you know. And what you see with a lot of brothers is a token of consistency. Like you see the brothers screams and brothers got certain things going and you know, edification is flowing. Well, that's a token of consistency in the background, you know. One thing about it, what you present on the platform, okay, is a token of what you do, all right, behind the scenes, you know, like that they got Mac McCullough, he won, the dunk contest the other day, last night. Well, that's a Jake. You go into his last name, McClung. All right, it goes back to Scott's. You know, but as you were seeing it, cause I just so happened to look at the highlights. This morning. I forgot it about the All Star Weekend. But what you're seeing, what we seen, if you watched it, what you seen was, all right, an athlete, that has been grinding behind the scenes a long time. I know I used to follow him in high school, because he's always known for being extremely athletic, you know. But now he's pretty much on the a national stage, then with the YouTube, global stage, okay? And he was able to perform at that level because of the consistency he has put in through the years. You see? And a lot of time with him, he's pretty much been underrated. He's been an underdog, you know, people always spoke against him, even in high school. But one thing about it, he always stayed consistent. He always played, with the chip on his shoulder. And it was like last night, he kind of got the kind of showcase, you know, and however it turned out with him. But the example, that I wanted to bring out is that you've seen someone who was extremely consistent, you know, and then that one night, you got to see a token of his consistency, man. You see? So what's happening with us in the ministry, the Lord is disciplining us to be consistent. Okay? That's why Yahushua was telling Apostle Peter, look, feed my sheep, feed my sheep, feed my sheep. Because Yahushua knew the consistency of feeding the sheep, what it would lead to, man. Now you have a nation of Israelites, okay, the hopeful elect is like a nation within itself, that's prepared. Their minds is prepared. They're thirsting for Yahushua. But it came through what? The consistency of teaching, lessons coming out. We didn't know what the kingdom was. Even when we was in the truth, a few months, we didn't have an understanding what the kingdom was and how a kingdom functions and what we had to look forward to. But the constant teaching started to paint the picture and make everything clear to now, like we thirst for it. We starving for the kingdom and the promises, man. You know? But it all came through consistency. That mindset came from you taking your time out to listen to these videos, man. Okay? To tune in. Okay? For you brothers, to read, research these things, go into things. Okay, we pretty much come addict, you know, pretty much become an addict to the game, man. You become addicted, you know. And that's what makes it easy. Like when you become addicted to this thing, man, you know, when you come obsessed, with learning and the work and the labor, you kind of become obsessed with it, you know. Like I said, I've been reading a lot more lately, getting back into that good habit of reading. And then it becomes a point to where you're excited to read. You're excited to what you're going to learn next. You see? And it makes it easy to be consistent. If you look at something as a burden, it's going to be very difficult, man. That's why scriptures say how, wisdom is like a stone, a burdensome stone, you know, and pretty much we have to carry that burden until it becomes normal. And one thing I've learned about anything that's hard, you know, it becomes easy through repetition. It's like no matter what it is, it becomes easy through repetition. That's why you see, men that are experienced in something, been doing something 10, 15, 20 years, it's like a mechanic or a plumber, electrician, okay? Something that an apprentice, someone that's newly into it, will what they would consider hard or difficult, you know, those men with experience do it with ease, and to the point that it's so easy to them that it comes natural, man. You know, and that's how we have to be in this ministry, man. To hey, we bear that burden on a daily basis, to the point to where it becomes natural unto us, man. We able to do it, with ease, man. You see how the apostles and elders, you know, still can have camp, 2.5 hours, sometimes 3 hours, man. Okay, that's because they've been doing it so long, and they always bear the burden, in season, out season, not taking no breaks. Okay, is a part of who they are. You know, they're just like a woman. Like if a woman doesn't really have any mother or wife skills like that, well, what should she do? She should start, okay, doing something every day to build up a skill set. Okay, I say we all started from scratch in one way or the other, some shape or form. All right. But the thing is about getting started, and then once you get started, being repetitious. Because one thing about anything you do, like if you start a business, like to really establish a business, a new business, you have to be ridiculously consistent. Okay, you really have to be over consistent to establish yourself. Okay, and this is what we've begun in this ministry, man. This is like starting a new business where you have to be extremely consistent. All right, and then you become established. You see, I say consistency also leads, to being established. Okay, and the Lord, all right, is establishing His people with wisdom. You know, like the reason why the Lord, foundation on the rock, and the winds came and beat vehemently, and they wasn't moved. Why? Because they've been building consistently. Like every day, they've been adding something to the foundation. Every day we're adding something to our spiritual foundation. Okay. So when it's time to go for the storms, all right, Jacob's trouble, okay, we have a solid foundation. That's going to be unmovable, man. No one can tell us different, okay, when it comes to what we should be doing. You see, we consistently go into these things. There's no gray areas about how we should move in these times. There's no gray areas about what the MOTB is, man, the Caragma. You see, there's no gray areas about the names of the Lord. Like, nah, we constantly been added to that spiritual foundation. Okay, understanding the instructions of righteousness, man. Understanding what's expected of us as men. Okay, and even women, understanding what's expected, man. Okay, and that's been added to this foundation that's going to make us solid. Okay, and unmovable because the scriptures speak about those our people that build their house, okay, on sand. Why? Because inconsistency. Okay, if you're inconsistent, you'll never you'll never grow into something great. Okay, because you have like I always make an example of athletes. You got athletes that are extremely talented. Okay, but they never had the work ethic to be consistent in anything, man. And it showed. It will show. You see. But then you have those that wasn't so talented, but had a work ethic. You know, and that created longevity for them. You see, their work ethic is a valuable thing, man, and they can turn something mediocre into something great. Just a crazy work ethic. You know, even when you go to Amazon, like you look at Amazon now, they everywhere. But there was a time when he was just delivering a few packages a day, selling a few books a day. But that consistency led to Amazon. You know, the consistency, led to a McDonald's. Now they all get corrupted and get linked in once they get to a certain point. They get corrupted and linked in, and you know get into the in crowd and start pushing satanic symbolism. Okay, but the startup process, they all had to be consistent. You know, McDonald's just kept selling hamburgers, man, and day after day, you just gonna keep. That's another thing. Like when you find your niche, something you're good at, man. Hey, keep doing it every day. Keep tapping into it every day because everybody got different gifts. Different things they bring to the body. So it's like whatever you find your niche, it's constantly doing it every day. You know, crazy work ethic, man. Okay, because we understand what it's leading to. All right, and then it becomes a part of us to, the things that are difficult unto most are easy unto us. You know, even while I used to work here, um, I seen a lot of men come and go, a lot of men, and then even the guys that been there a while, they would always be complaining, you know, about different things. And, when certain work came in, all right, you can see Jake with the defeated look on his face, man. Okay? Because Jake always had a bare minimum mindset where they gonna try to do the bare minimum to get by, you know? But the thing is, if you know that you into something that you're gonna be here, okay, you might as well go hard body, and get it out the way. So years of me doing it, like the stuff that I'm talking about, people that don't read you complain about, became easy, you know, and then to the point like, damn, I'm built a certain way. But see, that was the Lord who did that. See, the Lord is doing that with us now. He's building us a certain way through consistency. You see, the things that our people don't want to do, the Lord has us doing it. Okay, so when the going get tough, we are already built for it, man. You see, but it starts with what consistency, man. You know, the 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 the, the, uh, the ingredient, okay, a core ingredient to greatness is that consistency, man. Day for day, it's a day for day grind. Okay, every day, man, have a mindset to get up and go get it. Okay, scripture say, gird up thy loins. Okay, the loins of thy mind, and that thy lights be burning. You know, that desire like this, it should be a desire, man. If we lose the desire, man, we should pray the Lord to get that desire, man, that fire, that fire for this thing, man. That one to be great within our lot, you know, that desire to be great within our lot, man. See? And hey, the Apostle Paul is a great example of that. His diligence, okay, his mindset, his humility, but his consistency, man. Okay? And you look at the New Testament through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai was a token of the Apostle Paul's consistency. You see? Hey, the body of work that the Lord allowed him to have, the Lord put that portion on him, but it was like a constant fire, you know, even all the way up until his death, till they cut his head off, man. Apostle Paul had that fire. You see, he had that righteous zeal, you know, and that's something to pray for, is that righteous zeal, man, you know, to really be on fire, man. to really have a desire for it. Because like I say, if anything you do, if it's a burden, if it feels like a chore, it's gonna be hard to endure. You know, I'm not saying every single second, or every time you want to go out or you want to do a lesson. Sometimes hey, you gotta fight through that resistance. You know, and that's what's really building us. See, that's what discipline comes into play because, like I say, you can have a skill set, but if you don't have the discipline, you can fall by the wayside. The discipline pushes you through even when you don't feel like. See, you can have a desire and a passion, you know, but then there's gonna be days when you don't feel like. That's when discipline push through, fight through their resistance. You know, certain men go to the gyms and you see they got these physiques. Okay, they didn't feel like going to the gym every day because see, everybody got a desire to be built. Have these sculpted bodies. Everybody got those desires. Okay, but what separates the achievement of that desire is the discipline. You know, there's a discipline that separates from a desire being just a fantasy and the thought to being an achievement. Okay, the discipline. You see, and that's what it is in this ministry, man. There's a discipline. That's why the followers of Yahushua were known as what? Before they was apostles, they were disciples. When they became apostles, that became who they were. That they have been disciplined under Yahushua. Okay, moving around with Yahushua, they became disciplined under Yahushua. All right, so when they was apostles, that's just who they were. Okay, the apostle Paul. Okay, the all the apostles, Apostle Peter. Okay, the you know, the all the apostles. That's why when you go by the time they get to the book of Acts, okay, you have pretty much going to Apostle Peter how he will go to prison, okay, get out. He'll go to prison, get out, go right back to teaching. Okay, they'll get beat up. They'll be getting beat, you know, for the word for teaching the Howard shot. Then they go right back to camp because it became who they were. You see, they had been disciplined for so long. It was just a part of who they were. It was just another day in the life. You know, all the things that Apostle Paul went through. He was stoned to death, came back. He went to the spirit world. Okay, came back, went right back. To teaching, man. You see, that's because that's who they were. That's what they became through their consistency. They became something, man. Okay. Apostle Paul, when they had it was an Ephesus, and you had all them, them niggas cheering for Diana Ephesus. Okay, and Apostle Paul, he was ready to go to the auditorium with all of them, man, with just their zeal. They had to stop him from going in there. Okay. Hey, but Apostle Paul tapped in. He like, I'm gonna go confound all these niggas, man. I got the word, you know. But how do you get to that point, man? Your spirit and power, how about you outshot, you know, with that consistency, man. Consistency makes us a certain way, that builds us, all right, into a certain mindset when we're consistent, So consistency is leading to an empire. You see, we're constantly chipping away at Esau's empire with Corinthians 10, okay, and 4, you know, tearing down strongholds, man. And as we're tearing down strongholds, we're building a new foundation on Yahweh Shai, that chief cornerstone, man. Okay? And it's happening in the spirit. Now the minds, you see the minds of the believers, okay, are being rebuilt. It's really like, this word is rebuilding us, man. That's why you go through that phase of being broken down to be built back up. to be built and made like a certain way, you know? So that's the point. I just wanted to go into it. I ain't make it too long. All right. That's something, I had meditated on. Just want to bring out. So Lord willing, brothers and you sisters, for edify once again, we'll give all praise unto the glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem, Kakadashi, double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS, who will teach well, be a great example to each other brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful that Shalom. Bob and Bob, DTA soon.